The aftermath of recent coups in Niger and other parts of Western Central Africa has Europe and its Western allies scrambling for a solution to the political instability. The dilemma prompted a roundtable discussion held by New Lines Institute, a Washington-based think tank with panelists which included top European Union diplomats to explore the 27-nation bloc's engagement in the Sahel, says Damien Cristofari, the European Affairs Senior Advisor at the French Embassy.
Probably in the coming days, and probably more days than weeks, things will evolve, and we will probably have to reassess the situation. There are talks currently in New York between various actors on this issue. So I think it's a bit too early to tell what's next, because we are again still in the very heart of the crisis. So we have to let the dust settle and see what we can do and what we cannot do.
Peter Tuma, a visiting fellow at the Atlantic Council, another think tank in Washington, told VOA that there's division within the top hierarchy of the EU over their next line of action in the Sahel.
There will be a discussion, and we are in the very beginning. I'm afraid that this will be tough to find a common line. As before, it was strongly driven by France and EU, European External Service, but nowadays we have some of the EU member states which are trying to push for an alternative approach.
Michael Sherkin, Director of Global Program at the 14 North Strategies, a research center focusing on the continent, said the United States is taking a cautious approach in a region historically linked with the EU and France.
There's an interest on the part of a lot of people in Washington to try to distance ourselves somewhat from the French, in the hope of trying to maintain lines of communication with these juntas and trying to maintain some lines of communication also with the population of these countries, with the notion that maybe at least there'll be opportunities to do something, to engage constructively.
Sherkin says, despite significant interest in Washington to resolve the current political impasse in the region, there's nothing tangible on the table right now.
Although nobody actually has any clear ideas about what that thing will actually be. What do we actually do, and how do we actually improve things?
The panelists also expressed concern over the continent's resolve to collaborate with Russia. They discussed the prevalence of increasing disinformation by the Kremlin on the continent, with the EU's top diplomat revealing that Europe is setting up an African unit to counter such propaganda. Ignatius, Annor, VOA News, Washington.